What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you with another video. So today we're going to be talking about Phil Spencer. He was actually a guest on Gamertag Radio. So, I really wanted to go over some of the statements he made on there, brainstorm a little bit about what was said, what does it mean to the brand at this point. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with the video. But before we start it, definitely hit that like button if you guys like the video, subscribe for future content. So let's get this show rolling. So Gamertag Radio, they've been in the community for a while. I actually didn't really know about them until now. I've heard their name come up a couple times in the past, but I've never really sat down and listened to one of their podcasts. It's actually a really good show. I'll definitely put that in the comments section or the description below. Definitely go check that out. That's my source to the video anyway. But they had their 1000th episode. So they decided to get none other than Phil Spencer as their guest for their 1000th episode. And they had a very, very informative podcast, a very news article podcast. So I've already seen the articles going up about this interview, and it was a great interview. Like I said, definitely hit that description, watch it, but let's go ahead and get into what exactly was said in the podcast. So one of the very first things that they really talked about in this podcast is the issue that a lot of fans have where the Series X won't have any exclusives for that particular hardware. Everything's going to be cross-generation. Everything you play on the Series X, you'll be able to play on the Xbox One X, the Xbox S, and the original Xbox, the fat one, the one that looks like a VCR. So there was a lot of issues going on that, and they were very blunt with him. They asked him just straight out what was the thought process with Microsoft, and his response was actually pretty standard. He said that Microsoft as a whole don't want to isolate the users that are still on the Xbox. They don't want to isolate the users that are on the original Xbox. They want to make sure everyone is able to play everywhere they want to. And plus, he did make a statement, some people don't want to upgrade immediately, so he doesn't want to punish people that maybe had just got an S or an X recently. He don't want to punish those people, and I definitely understand that. Me personally, I still feel like it needs, exclusives to make that particular hardware stand out a little bit more, but that's just my personal opinion. I particularly don't care, but I definitely understand both sides of the argument. Then the next real topic that really interests me, that felt like a lot of my audience would really be interested in, is Microsoft's stance currently on VR. We know that there's been statements in the past going around that Microsoft doesn't really want to support VR as a whole. It's just, I guess it's more of they want to stand back and a weighted approach. They want to see exactly what happens. They want to see what kind of, evolution this platform has. And some of the statements that Phil Spencer made, actually made a lot of sense to me. Phil Spencer's stance when it comes to VR is he wants his consumer base to be very aware of what Microsoft wants. They're right now, they just bought the studios. That's their focus right now. That is the number one focus that they hear from their fans, is they need better games, they need better experiences, they need better first party titles. VR is definitely something that a lot of people want, but at the end of the day, they need to be focused on them. They need to be focused on what this platform can do if they get these studios right. Now, he did say in there that, the future is not really, what's what I'm looking for? It's not really made. Obviously, if the platform blows up in the future, there's money to be made. They'll probably visit it. He did say in this interview that it's not easy to program for. You have to change the entire dashboard around it. You have to constantly be updating this UI to accommodate for VR. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing this entire video. Like I said, the actual interview is in the description. Definitely go down there. You can listen to the actual interview itself and get Phil's words play by play, so you know exactly what he said. But I'm not going to misquote him. For the most part, I'm going to say what he said in my own words. But let's go ahead and go on with my favorite part of this entire podcast. Phil Spencer on this show had a lot to say about particularly Xbox in Japan and where the brand stands in that market. He said that when he first started this position, a lot of third-party Japanese games was not coming overseas. They were not even being remotely on their brand. And that's something that he said that he's been really focusing on a lot of this time he's been in the position he has. He did say that it's still a lot to work with. And he did actually mention that when games come out that's not on his platform, he cringes because he knows that Xbox could do better to get that game on their platform. And I gotta respect that. We've seen too many games not come to the Xbox brand for no reason. And we don't know what's going on in the back end of these agreements. We don't know what's going on in the back end of these meetings. There could be financial reasons. There could be, hidden motives. We just had the whole Platinum thing where their wonderful game, whatever that game's called, that's not coming to the Xbox platform. We have the Dragon Quest games not coming to the platform. We have to wait a month for the Kingdom Hearts DLC. So Phil Spencer is right in that area. They're working on it, and I think that's the key thing. He's constantly going to Japan to fix this issue. It's been a big issue. Let's say that Sony didn't get Persona 5 as an exclusive. If there was better relations between Microsoft and that company, maybe Atlas and Microsoft could have had better relationship a couple years ago, and this never would have happened. Imagine if Persona 5 wasn't a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Maybe, that year would have been a lot better for Microsoft because they didn't have that 9+ game that was an exclusive. And I wanted to, give you a standpoint in that direction. This is something that he clearly is very, very adamant about. He did say that when he talks to, the Japanese head of the studios, a lot of their people, that one of the biggest issues that they really voiced their concern about was the fact that there's no Xboxes in their local stores. They want to see the game that they work on actually there. So if they're working on the Xbox platform, they want to see that there. That's completely understandable. So, maybe this is something that Phil Spencer can tackle later on. Maybe he can do some, deals, making it a little bit cheaper in the Japanese market. Now, he did say that, we're not going to wait a year to bring out the Series X to the Japanese market like we did the Xbox. They're going to try to do it a little closer, if not day and date. So, things like that is the direction that you can go to really fix that issue. Now, another thing that Phil Spencer really brought up in this interview is the lack of first-party studios that's in Japan. Now, he did say multiple times they could work on that. They could always do better on that. He kind of hinted that they're working on that direction. A lot of the examples that was used was Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. Thought it was kind of funny that the actual podcaster that was interviewing Phil didn't know the names to these games. So I kind of figured he was doing it for his listeners and not necessarily himself. I don't think he plays those games, but I can respect that. Just because I don't care about certain games does not mean my listeners don't care. So I can respect that podcaster for taking the time to ask that, because I only had Phil Spencer for like 45 minutes. But Phil Spencer, he definitely wanted to stay. He was not announcing anything. We don't need people taking his words out of content. But, it looked like they are looking into that. Maybe there's some deals going on behind the door, behind closed doors. Maybe something at E3 will be announced. That would be crazy if they bought a Japanese first-party title, first-party studio. But anyway, that was pretty much the entire interview. It was about 45 minutes long. Like I said, it's in the description below. Definitely go down there and, hit that up, show them some love. It's a great interview. I really enjoyed it. I think I watched it like 3 times. But if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. Subscribe for future content in the future. I'm going to try to be more consistent here going forward. But until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.